for those who are willing and able. Thank you. All right, it is April 13th. The time is 5:32, and I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Albertson. Here. Trustee Wakefield.
Here.
Allison. Trustee Gardner.
Here.
George.
Here.
Burton Harper.
Here.
Here. Great. And do we have any staff or board revisions to the agenda? Staff revisions. Okay. Board. Okay. All right, we'll move on to public comment. We'll take a public comment in person first, and then we'll move on to public comment on Zoom. We don't have any public hearings, so feel free to comment however you wish. If you have a public comment, you can come to the podium and make your comment. You'll have 3 minutes. And if you're on Zoom and you'd like to make a public comment, you can click the raise hand button and you'll also have 3 minutes. Thank you, our honored guests, for being here as well. It doesn't look like we have public comment in person. Do we have any public comment on Zoom? Again, you can click the raise hand button and we'll promote you to panelist. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and we'll move on to the consent agenda. Anything that staff want to put in there or questions from the board?
I'll just highlight the upcoming town cleanup day. I especially wanted to focus on the fact that there's a wildfire preparation component to it, so the focus will be on clearing up defensible space around homes and businesses around town.
Great, awesome. So if you're online and you'd like to about that, check out the packet or our website, or probably on the Creative District's new email event blast. Questions from the board? Great, Lucy, thanks for those notice of decisions in there. It's always helpful.
Yep.
All right, moving on to agenda item 5, staff reports.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, sorry.
The agenda.
Okay. I thought you guys just wanted to move somewhere. All right, roll call, please.
Yeah. Yeah. George.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right, now we'll move on to staff report. So I'll kick it over to staff for anything they wanted to highlight and open it up to the board for any questions or comments.
Yeah, also in the wildfire preparedness realm, I just want to highlight the Monday, May 15th, Community Wildfire Protection Plan meeting. John, myself, and Bevan will be on hand for that. We'll be have a table and on hand to answer questions from the community about wildfire resiliency code or the cleanup day or anything of that nature. We had some additional great funding news last week. So as I had mentioned in a previous update, we were awarded the Colorado Energy Office Act Accelerator Grant. That was leveraged with the Colorado Circular Communities organization additional award. So we have just shy of 2 million to put toward transfer station improvements and working toward a pay-as-you-throw program.
Wow.
So reach out to John and to Stuart especially.
That's huge. Tackling all the important things. Great. Other things from the staff updates or things that the board had questions on? Okay, well now we don't have any presentations or proclamations, so we'll move on to agenda item 7A, business items. This is the oath of office. So I think the way I wanted to do this is first give our outgoing trustees the opportunity, if they would like, no pressure, but this is your opportunity if you would like to say anything to the community as you are exiting your years of service. I want to extend a huge thank you to the members that have served on this board. It has been a true honor and privilege. It takes a lot to step up for this kind of a role, to dedicate your evenings, as these two will quickly learn, and just really appreciate all the time and energy. So opening it up to our outgoing And Lindsay, you can do this however you want. We're so glad you're rolling over. So Tyler, Amy, the floor is yours if you'd like.
You have a scenario, so whenever.
Up to you.
I just have a little thing to say. Right. Although my time of 2 years served on the board was short, you have accomplished so much. From balancing our budget in order to benefit the town in the long term, getting some new anvil units in, working on water and sewer rates, welcoming new town staff, a new town administrator, and more. I feel the deepest appreciation for my fellow colleagues, town staff, and the town of Silverton as a whole. This journey has taught me a lot, and I am forever changed in the best way possible. While I am sad my term has come to an end and I did not run again, I am confident that the new board members and staff will continue to move the town of Silverton in the right direction and make decisions based on the well-being of town, while being creative and navigating through any challenges that may come their way. So again, thank you to my fellow trustees, to the community, and to staff. Thank you for supporting me, for putting your trust in me. Thank you for holding me accountable. Thank you for listening and giving input, and thank you for showing up every day. I love Silverton so much, and I look forward to what the future holds. Thank you.
Yeah, I also have just a short statement. I'm gonna do my best to project, but I'm fighting off a little cold here. So, first of all, I'd like to say it's been a privilege to serve on this board for the past, I guess, 1.5 terms. So, and I'm really grateful I was able to give back to the town where I grew up in and the town that raised me. So it's, yeah, again, real privilege. I want to thank all of the current board members and previous board members that I served with for the commitment to making the town better and also striving to, I think, preserve the character of the town that we all know and love. I think that everybody I've served with has really tried to keep those two things, in their hearts. So we've come a long way from when I started on the board, and the the turnover at the administrator position and other key roles was very high, and it made it nearly impossible to finish existing projects, let alone start new projects. The enmity amongst board members and other factions in the town, made national headline news. There was an attempt to recall me after serving for 2 months. I didn't realize I could make people that angry in that short of time. And the entire time, we were in complete disarray, and I was really struggling. I was like, why did I sign up for this? And then without going into all of the gory details, suffice it to say, today we have a highly competent staff. We have widespread community support. We have a board that is cohesive and functional, highly functional, and we have a list of goals and a plan to move Silverton towards those goals. So the idea that I may have had a small hand in helping us to get from where we were to where we are now is a big source of pride for me. I had made a list of some achievements I was going to review tonight, but while I was doing it, I realized that the board only sets direction and the staff are the ones that really bring those achievements to fruition. So the biggest piece of advice I have for the new board is that the board can only be as successful as the staff that you have in place, and you need to have smart, dedicated, and effective people. You can make policy and set direction, as much as you'd like, but without the right people to do the legwork, we're all just good idea fairies. So, which I stole from Lindsay. Thank you. So the best thing you can do is support your staff, trust their expertise, and if it's necessary, we need to sort of stand up for them and protect them, and give them clear expectations and parameters. And if they are executing the vision set forth by the board, and the result isn't what you expected, make sure that they know that they were doing the job that you gave them. And you asked them to do it. And then more than that, make sure that the public knows that they were, they're executing what we asked them to do. So if things go right, it's, they should get the credit. And if things go wrong, we should take the blame, I think.
It's a great job.
And having a strong staff and maintaining continuity, I think, is paramount to being effective. So Just finally, I think during my time on the board, I made decisions that I know plenty of folks in town probably didn't agree with. But I can say with absolute certainty that every decision I made with the town's best interest at heart. So it's been a real privilege and an honor, and I'm, yeah. Thank you for, allowing me to represent you all.
Jim was incredibly thoughtful and put together a momentum.
This is a team effort.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, I love that photo.
Is this the
Oh.
photo?
A photo of us, like the first. Good luck.
Oh, yeah. Also go Nuggets. Go Nuggets.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's very fun. Thanks.
Lindsay, I'm happy for you if you'd like to say anything ending out this term, or if you'd like to say something starting a new term.
Yeah, I didn't really prepare anything. I don't need to say much other than I am excited for another 4 years, and I'm excited to serve with you both. And Tyler and Amy, it's been a real privilege and honor to serve with you too. And I don't know if you've changed the course of town, even if you say you haven't, you have. So thank you for your time and service.
Thanks, team. Thanks, guys. All right, so we'll now move on to the oath of office. So I would invite our lovely Judge Tompkins up, and I think you're going to facilitate the oath. So hopefully you have the oath in front of you, and I think we'll start with you have a Brosh and a Brown. So I think we'll start with Chris Brosh. S is for before Brown, and we'll start with Chris. It'll track you.
Okay, perfect.
Tyler and Amy, please feel free to, stay. Tyler's still signing checks, so.
It's the last time.
Last time you signed checks.
The last time.
Okay. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Christopher Brown,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of town trustee upon which I am about to enter.
of town trustee upon which I'm about to enter.
Perfect. You'll come over and sign.
So we'll do each of you. Lindsay, you'll be last, and then we can let Deanne take a quick picture of our 3 new trustees and the whole board, and then
eat your cupcake.
and then we'll get down to business.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right,
Next, gentlemen.
Dr. Dave Brown.
Read.
Good.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Dave Brown,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Colorado,
and the state of Colorado,
and will faithfully perform the duties of town trustee
will faithfully perform the duties of town trustee
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to.
Get your signature.
Yeah.
Right here.
All right. Culverson, so now come on.
It's best for last.
Call it.
Perfect. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Lindsay Halverson,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and I will faithfully perform the duties of town trustee
and I will faithfully perform the duties of town trustee
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to.
Perfect. Sign here. Wait, okay, it's okay. You can fill it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Tompkins. We appreciate it. Anthony used to always say this is his favorite part of the job.
The easiest part, the most fun. Let's see. All right, one of you can see the seat right here.
You guys are welcome to come up. Why don't we get a picture? Dan, you can get a picture with the three of them and we'll get a picture of the whole new board seated.
Wait. Picture of just.
Just about, new trustees.
It's right here. And yeah.
Tell them to move.
Either way, matter, they can.
No, I really like
You don't want anybody to,
You take your plat.
you don't want anybody to,
Yes.
try and use it. Exactly.
You gotta sit with the, are we in this photo right here?
Yeah, should we do a photo with everybody? Yeah. With everybody, yeah.
The correct.
Oh.
Peaceful transition.
Yeah.
We have everybody.
Us?
Come on, sure.
Everybody.
You guys.
I'll have you gentlemen.
Great.
I mean, Greg was a.
False.
He could be up here too.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's stitch in. Alan, right here, Melina would be, could I get you right behind Harper?
Yeah.
Right. All right, let's do a few versions. Good job.
But Dan, you directed this like wedding party. I think we're good. And you got the three new trustees? You got, great, okay. All right. Tyler and Amy, thank you. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
guys.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Both of you too.
I know, I see you Thursday.
You're not rid of me.
You can't have two parkers, you're still assigned.
Oh, I know. Wow. Whatever you guys need, you let me know.
Yeah.
I am.
Hi, guys, sorry.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Bye.
Oh,
Bye.
I'll just, we'll do it. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, eat it. A lot of fun.
Oh, you're on now.
Also did make enough. Or lemon.
Yeah, everybody grab a cupcake. Grab a cupcake or Coke
You can also take one later.
or take one later.
I
Cherry.
made enough.
Yes. Okay, so welcome. You've been officially sworn in. This is the new seating of this board. Really exciting. Checking in with Clayton. Clayton, is there anything administratively that we are missing now that these three have been sworn in?
Nope. Congratulations to the new trustees. The statute requires that the trustees be seated and take an oath of office within a certain amount of time. And you guys have met that requirement. And so we are good to roll.
Great, thank you. Well, welcome. We have a lot of fun here. We'll continue to have a lot of fun. We've got great staff, we've got the great board, and we do a lot of great work. So we're glad you guys stepped up. Appreciate it. All right. You're going to move on to agenda item 7B. This is the Special Improvement District RFP release. So we're going to get right in the nitty gritty. Please don't worry that you need to be engineers. So we're going to get right in the nitty gritty with this. And I'm just going to give a brief overview to catch you guys up as well. So the Special Improvement District has been a process with some landowners up on the hill whereby we're using the administrative mechanisms of the state to secure a loan kind of on behalf of the Special Improvement District, but the town will not be on hook for that funding. The property owners are on the hook for that funding. And so it's been a multi-year process. And the main part of the project is to extend water and sewer and streets up on the hillside. So there's an overview of the process in here. We are on step 7, about step 7. Some of the steps 8 and 9 are being done concurrently or have already done. So this is not necessarily a sequential order, but where we are in the process, is to issue an RFP for the work and then have have some contractor bid on it. And so this is a request for proposals that we will put out. The RFP was written by our engineering firm in partnership with John Zarkis. So our engineering firm is tasked with making sure that it meets our standards, right? It's to our town standards and our engineering standards. And then they've also been working closely with the property owners to make sure, is this meeting the vision of what the property owners are hoping to accomplish up on the hillside? So that's kind of where we are. I will kick this now over to John to add any more detail and information that he would like to add, and we can obviously open it up for questions.
Yeah, so did go with SGM as far as to get all this put together. In the packet, it does show all the plans. And if you really want to fall asleep at night and not used to that, that'll do it. Anyway, I've reviewed it. It seemed like a long time to get here, but we got there. And the RFP will be out for 3 weeks. I did with Dan with SGM, and there's a pool of contractors that he notified in Durango. And then I supplied him a pool of contractors that are in Montrose. They're all qualified, more than qualified to do a project like this. And then we'll just wait for them to come in, and then it'll be tasked on me to go through those. And years and years of experience, you do not always go with the lowest bid. So that will be something that I will be diving into once we get some of those bids submitted and I can start looking through them. So it's going to take a little bit more time, but we'll get there. So.
Thanks, John. Will SGM play a role in reviewing the bids as well, or does that all sit with you?
Yes, it'll be in conjunction with me and SGM. And part of the bid too is SGM. They will, I don't have enough time, frankly, to inspect the entire project. So that's part on SGM, that they'll provide those services, which is a very important part of this project to make sure it is done correctly to town standards and all that. So I was glad to see that in there. So.
Great, thank you.
Can we approve who the inspector is going to be?
So the board will have final authority on who.
Well, more than John than us.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah,
you'll be able to prove who's done
yeah,
it.
through SGM, and it'll be one of SGM's employees.
Okay.
They've got senior engineers. Depending on where they're at in that process, they might be able just to send a junior, which that's fine, because that person is basically in training and knows what to look for and everything. There will be occasions that the senior engineer will be on site to do those inspections and make sure, sign off on everything.
I got you. You're talking about as the project continues. Yeah, got you. Yeah.
For timing for the town, we're just talking about like trying to get the timing right to build for summer, but there's no like other town timing that we need to hit, right? Like a lot of this project up until kind of like now was like, you had to hit election timings, you had to hit like the financing timings, like those are kind of done, right? And we're just now like trying to hit summer. Okay, yeah.
And it all depends on, typically this time of year, what I was used to, contractors have already filled their
Yeah. Yeah,
schedule,
they're already built.
like till December.
Yeah.
So we'll see what bids come back and how they come back.
Mhm.
And that's a guessing game.
Yeah.
So.
I just, I'm like, we're not gonna hear from the folks on the Hill, like, you know, this is like a normal, now we're in like a normal process of timing. It's not like a rushed thing to try to meet some election. And like, we're, okay,
Because whoever decides to bid on it, it's gonna take them time to put the numbers
totally.
to this whole thing. It's not gonna happen within 2 days. That's why, 3 weeks is a pretty standard amount of time to get all this out for the prospective ones that want to bid the project. They'll have enough time to put the numbers together on, quantities and every materials.
And do you expect, John, like when we review these RFPs, you'll give us like the top three and we'll review from there. Yeah. Great.
Can I ask just a little background on that? So this is, could you explain the loan a little bit more detail in terms of the town's?
Yeah, so basically, if these property owners, and they tried it, if they all go as 10 property owners to some bank or financer, the bank's gonna be like, I'm not loaning you 10 random people a big huge chunk of money to do public infrastructure. But what the town has the ability to do is to establish an actual government entity called a special improvement district, and then that is a special taxing district. So those property owners, so what Lindsay was referring to is kind of the previous steps of like, those property owners had to submit a petition, say, we want to become this thing called a special improvement district. They had to get a majority of signatories to that, had to be approved by the town. Then they had to have an actual election where the property owners had to vote whether they were willing to become this district. And with that formation, there would be an assessment based on the valuation of the project. And so they did, that election happened, they approved it. I think it was eight of the 10 property owners voted in favor, and I think you need a 60% or 50% approval or majority. And then they had already kind of bid out the project of what they thought it would cost. So there was a kind of pretty padded budget of like, the assessment on these properties will not be more than X amount. And then over time, the county assessor will assess that and it'll be part of their property taxes. So each lot will be assessed a certain amount that will then help cover the cost of the improvements. So the town, a bank will work with the town to give the financing for this type of project. And then the repayment of it will happen from the property owners. So the town.
Taxes or?
As taxes. And they can pay it, if the property owners pay it sooner, pay less interest. Obviously, if they pay it over longer periods of time and it's an assessment year for 25 years, part of it will depend on the terms of the loan, but they can pay it more quickly and just similar to a mortgage.
So does the town pay the bank and then the property owners pay the town, or? Property owners?
I'd be able to clarify more of our understanding is it's coming, like, it gets us, go ahead.
I thought it's like a municipal bond, right?
Yeah,
So we can take out the like bond itself and then paid back over taxes with like not only the project, but the cost of like staff time. We had to work, Clayton had to work with their lawyer. So like all of that's included in there.
Like we've hired a bond attorney to help us with the bond. And so that all gets billed into the cost of the project, or like some of SGM's time, right? Like the whole idea is that general taxpayers shouldn't necessarily pay for the improvements that are going to be mainly realized by a set number of property owners. That's the principle. Yeah. Yeah. Clayton, did you have anything else to add there in terms of the financing or high level clarification?
No, I just wanted to, it's been explained. So if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great, thanks. Yeah. If this is the first time the town has done something like this. So these property owners were working on it together. This is not an uncommon thing to happen, but it's the first time that Silverton's done it. Yeah. Yeah, other questions on the process or
No, that's enough. I'm just thinking, the what ifs. Because get to know me, I'm always thinking worst case scenarios.
Oh, I've got
you're going through a lot of.
a friend over here.
Something doesn't go right, and then you're sitting there with holes in the side of the town available to pay for. And that's sort of, and again, I know nothing about this process other than who's on the hook.
Yeah.
It stalls and doesn't happen.
Yeah. Clayton, do you want to clarify that? Who's on the hook if this stalls and doesn't happen, or there isn't payment, et cetera? Kind of helps us set the record straight again and how this works.
So the money is paid and secured by bonds. The homeowners are assessed there. We will do an assessment ordinance and they will pay that money back with with interest bearing. There's no prepayment penalty. or at least that's the contemplation. We don't have the financing lockdown yet. We're still in negotiation with bank. And if everything goes wrong, the bonds guarantee the money to the bank, and we are guaranteed recuperation through the value of the property itself. And so just like a county tax, we have the power to lien and then foreclose on properties that default on the payment of their assessments.
Okay, let's summarize it.
That help?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
The borrowing power of the town.
Yeah.
To get the loan. Gotcha.
Yep. And I just keep saying this is using the administrative function of the state to help make something happen on kind of a private level. Yep. And sometimes towns do water and sewer extensions. Oftentimes what you're going to see is a developer is putting that in, right? They're taking on the cost of that to put it in. And this is kind of a creative way to help that kind of thing happen when the property owners all can't do it on their own.
So these are property owners that have plans themselves to build, or are they going to try to resell their property?
There's no
Or we don't know.
commitment either way. I mean, there's no commitment either way. They just had to vote that they approved to be distinguished in this way as a special improvement district and have the estimated assessment on their lots.
In the assessment in terms of the taxes, is that going to go up over time if they build on it? And is that going to be realized back by the town?
That's probably gonna be, developed land changes the property assessment, yes, but in terms of the special improvement district assessment, no. And I would say, when I did a back of envelope calculation, basically, if you look at what these lots sold for, and then you look at what an infill lot in town that has water, sewer, and streets, and you look at what the assessment value is, it's about that. It's about that. It gets these lots at a rate that's not dissimilar to an infill lot that already has that infrastructure.
Okay.
That's not how they did the calculations, right? They calculated it based off of engineering estimates of what the project is supposed to cost. But if you're looking at how well capitalism works, it's pretty close.
Yeah, that's, the land speculation thing and how that's going to wind up in 3 to 5 years. And if there's no houses on there and, it's kind of hard looking at that crystal ball.
Yeah, now it's lots that are infill instead of speculative.
Yeah.
But when those people bought those lots, all those lots were purchased at less price than an infill lot. For that reason. The market was doing that already. I had a question for you, John, in terms of the engineering plans that we're looking at solve for the closed loop concern that you had before.
Yep, we got an extra 400 foot of water line in there, so that's a good thing. That's gonna go through. That solves a lot of future problems with it being a dead end.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And so background for you guys, when this project was originally proposed, the street and the water lines didn't fully extend and loop, and that was a concern for John in terms of just waterfall and safety, like water just stagnating there. So we have new plans there. Great. Other questions from the board? Jim? We've looked at these engineering plans a lot. In various forms. I think some of them still said Roberts Road up, but I was like, Roberts Road. Okay. And the road was approved in 23. One of those states.
Yeah, before my time.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? New board members, old board members? Okay, so I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve releasing SID request for proposal.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
For the newbies.
Gosh.
Trustee Brosh, you're first. You get to say yay or nay.
Yay.
Mrs. Brown,
Yay.
Trustee Halverson,
Yes.
Trustee Wakefield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hubbard,
Yes.
Yes, Melina, good job. That would have taken me a step like, oh yeah, we got a whole new order here. Yep. Okay, great, good job. Your first vote on the board. Yes. So again, and because this is a resolution, typically how it works is you talk about the resolution, we'd entertain a motion, and then we would have a vote. Or motion in a second. And don't worry, you'll get all sorts of Bob's Rules of Order, which is lots of fun, much better than Robert's. All right, moving on to agenda item 7C, resolution 2026-08, a resolution declaring that Mullis Lake Campground align with adjacent public lands fire restrictions. And I will pass this over to Steve and Steve's memo.
Hello. So this stemmed from last year, Jennifer expressing a bunch of frustration with folks showing up at Mullis to camp and then learning they couldn't have fires due to alignment with town fire restrictions and just the way things unfold, and having to go with our meeting schedules in order to change these or have special meetings or elections or meetings. So we explored the idea that we have them align with the, adjacent public lands. I spoke with Bruce Conrad about this. He was all in favor of it. Have then since connected with Steve Lawrence, who is now, serving in that role. He is advocates for this as well. And in the event that you have discrepancy between the public lands, it would go with a no fires situation. So taking on the more restrictive of the adjacent public land. Happy to answer any questions or speak further on this.
Thanks, Steve. Questions from the board on this resolution?
I asked Elizabeth this earlier and I just wanted to bring it up because it's probably a question on the top of someone's mind of that, why this year would be loosen restrictions of any years. No, I know. But so I think when you read it, it sounds like that, but I think I got clarity that this isn't loosening restrictions. It's just aligning with what the new restrictions are faster than what we can do as a town board, because we only meet every 2 weeks and has to be noticed and So that was really good clarity for me.
Yeah, it prevents that lag time. So yeah, Forest Service or BLM, the conditions are right. It's safe to have fires again. Those restrictions come off and then we have to say, wait, X amount of days, weeks for it to meet to rescind town restrictions. We're just eliminating that lag time.
Because what happened last year is we were still in fire ban, applied to Mullis, public lands around, lifted them, and then her guests up there were upset that they couldn't have a fire. And so they said, okay, we're just gonna go across the street then. Go find somewhere to camp, not here. So makes it so that she doesn't lose business and everything up there is safe.
Do we still have to, so I read this correctly to say in the resolution that we don't have to meet to implement whatever's happening at Mullis. We would have to meet to implement a fire restriction in town, but we don't have to meet to implement something at Mullis. Yeah.
Our
just automatically happens.
Apply.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, questions?
I have one question. How did the concessionaire Jennifer feel about this? Is she on board?
Yes, she is on board and spoke with her about the whole discrepancy piece. And she advocated for, if there's discrepancy, we just don't go. So basically we go with the more restrictive of the federal agency.
Perfect.
Yeah, I had that question too. Do they have differences between them sometimes? It's so annoying.
That happened last year.
Yeah, it makes it very confusing for the public. All right, any other questions? All right, I entertain a motion to approve resolution 2026-08, a resolution declaring that Mullis Lake Campground aligned with adjacent public lands fire restrictions.
Second.
Great, roll call please, Melina.
Trustee Brosh,
Yay.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Albertson?
Yes.
Trustee Wakefield?
Yes.
Trustee Harper?
Yes.
Chair Cracker?
Yes. Okay, great. Moving on to agenda item 7D, Historic Preservation Committee member appointment. Now I'll pass this to Lucy.
Okay. The Historic Preservation Committee, it is a citizen committee. And it's responsible for reviewing and deciding on major historic district applications, as well as carrying out described in the land use code. The committee consists of 5 voting members and 1 at-large alternate member. And there are currently 2 vacancies. One for a year-round resident of the town of Silverton, who owns property in the historic overlay district. And a second for an at-large alternate who will serve when regular members are not available. Based on trustee direction following a committee member resignation. Sorry. My notes are missing. The town issued public notice. And we received 2 applications, one for Gregory Swanson, who is in the audience, and then the other for Sarah Moore. So tonight you have 2 options. You can ask the candidates to speak on behalf of why they would like to serve, sorry. I got my notes mixed up and I'm all over the place. It's the cherry Coke. I got too much caffeine and the cookie or the cupcake. And a cupcake, I'm not used to this much sugar. You can appoint members. You can appoint those members tonight, or we can continue our search for committee members. But after reviewing the applications, staff has found that the candidates qualify for their positions and recommend that we appoint both of these members to the committee. And we do have Gregory Swanson in the audience tonight. And Sarah Moore was unable to attend tonight's meeting because she is at a Main Streets conference in Oklahoma. So I'll hand it over to you to either ask Gregory Swanson to speak or to discuss your options.
Great, thank you, Lucy. Greg, you've come out all this way. Would you like to share anything? We're very grateful that you've threw your name in the hat. So you're welcome to say a few words or, yeah.
A lot of choices, but 53 years ago, when we drove it to Silverton, and I looked down and saw it, I said, that is an incredible place. Now, you all know that view as you come up from Durango. And when we drove down into town, I just couldn't believe it was like a place frozen in time. And we taught here and lived here for 3 years then and left with family stuff. But we came back in 2000. And we've been scouring little towns for antiques for our antique shop here. We travel thousands of miles a year looking. And we see little towns that were built about the same time as Silverton. Some of them look great and some of them look horrible. And I just, being a property owner and having a vested interest in this town, I'd like to see our town remain one of those that looks great. We have a lot of vacant lots that are going to have to be have infill. And I'd like to see it done as authentically as possible. And that's why I volunteered to be on the committee. Any questions?
Thanks, Greg. Questions for Mr. Swanson?
Just a huge thank you.
It's always really nice when people step forward. Yeah. You know, a really fun approach would be just nominate people at the meetings. That might get way more public comment.
Someone did suggest that at a meeting recently.
People are gonna start showing up just to know what position they got nominated for.
And Sarah is not able to attend, but she wanted to be a part of this committee because she has been working with Main Streets and has been working with some business owners in town, looking at kind of how to enhance different facades on Main Street, and just has become really interested in this and would like to serve as an at-large.
Great, thanks. Any questions for Mr. Swanson or Lucy? Great. Well, you guys have your suggestion, motion, or direction there.
All right, I'll move to appoint Greg Swanson and Sarah Moore to the Historical Preservation Committee.
And a second. Dr. Brown, Dave, we'll call you Dave. Would you prefer Dave or Dr. Brown? Dave?
Definitely.
And would you like Chris or Mr. Brosh? Or Trustee Brosh?
Chris.
At one meeting, there was a whole agenda item are we trustee Franker or first name? So great. All right, we have a roll call and we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Melina.
Brush.
Yes.
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 Mayor Pro Tem Harper.
Yes.
Franker.
Yes. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to agenda item 8A, discussion and direction items. We're talking about drought conditions update.
Oh, water's a hot topic. With our lowest recorded snowpack ever, it depends on which map you look at. We're about 15%. Neighboring communities are already enacting water restrictions. And it's something that you need to review because I think it's going to come sooner than later. We did in 2018, there was a drought ordinance passed and something just to look at because I think it's going to get here pretty quick rather than later. The good thing is if we pass something like this here shortly, it will help us with the call for water downstream. If we're already have restrictions in place and there is a call for water and it goes before the water judge and everything, they're going, well, Silverton's already on restrictions. We can't, they're doing their part. And I've talked with Peggy Montoya and Michael Kopp on this, and they're directing me that this would be a good thing for Silverton. Not going to be popular, but we're constantly maintaining and looking at water flows daily, what things are looking like. Because my job is to make sure that the health of citizens is first. So at that end, I don't mind telling somebody south of us to go kick dirt because we need water for us. But I will need the backing for that. So anyway, depending on what map you look at, the Colorado drought.gov, we're in that extreme drought area. I mean, there's a few hinges there, but all I can say is I hope for a wet spring, wet summer, wet fall. Take years to rebuild this, so.
As I understand it, the 2018 ordinance was put together very quickly. So we have an opportunity to have a little more thought about it and if there are any additional measures or what we'd like to see specifically.
So would you be looking for direction from the board on if they would like staff to have a draft ordinance ready, teed up?
I think that'd be the best way to proceed forward, yes.
Are you gonna look to like north and south partners? So I was looking at what Telluride just did and what Durango just did, and they're like a little different, but kind of the same.
Yeah, the good thing is our community is a lot smaller here.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit more harder to police
Yeah,
on those other communities.
yeah.
So I will be looking at some of what they're doing. I think to starters, like Elizabeth said, maybe it's restricting water usage on lawns and washing the car in the street or the sidewalk, stuff like that. You wouldn't think it, but somebody running their hose for 30 minutes, 7 days a week burns a lot of water. And right now, everything's so dry, you never see it. It just goes down. So kind of looking, I'll be researching that part of it and put together a draft. So.
And knowing this is kind of our busy summertime, that this would go into effect potentially, do we feel like we have capacity with Bevan and with you to enforce it?
Yeah, we'll be driving around a lot at night. Yeah, it's gonna be, it's too, my opinion is it's too much just for Bevan.
Mhm.
So we'll figure something out on my end or
Yeah.
my staff, whoever's on call.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. But I'll be the one that goes out and make contact if it has to be.
Yeah, and I imagine there's a decent bit of just community education that would have, but like, hopefully it's not an enforcement issue. It's more of a community education issue. We're pretty good at all getting in together when we know that we all need to get in together. So,
I mean, I think everyone knows this year.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't talked to a single person who's like, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we just lived it. The winter that was not.
Work, so there's identification, but then how's enforcement work if they're a repeat offender and so forth?
Bevan would issue them a code violation and they
Bevan does?
show up in court.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, would
Get
we
writing.
redo penalties? Would you like relook at that? Or, because I know I was looking at Durango's was pretty intense for ours.
Well, I think that's part of maybe the draft plan.
Yeah.
First time offender, second time
Yeah.
offender, or third time offender. And I think maybe we look at that and go down the line because I hate to have to plan for it, but I think you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
These penalties that are on here from the 2018 ordinance isn't strong enough? Is that what we're thinking?
No, I mean, I think it's just something like, do we want to consider changing it? It was different. I'm just like, was looking at what Durango just did and what Telluride just did, and they're just different. So whatever makes the most sense.
We can bring a draft before anything.
Yeah. Jim just thinks we're special and different.
We are special.
I do. I believe that.
Is there anything, so if staff is gonna bring a draft back to the board, are there additional things that off the top of your head now that's the board would really want staff to consider or to include?
I think the one thing I think we should consider is the water at restaurants feels overly restrictive in the 2018 code. Like I noticed I mean, we can chat through it, but like Telluride didn't have even Telluride doesn't have no water.
Considering
A lot of Telluride conversation over here.
What I'm saying, they just did it, which is why I'm bringing it up, because ours is more restrictive than even what they do, so it feels like.
And especially because we're probably on track to have a hot, dry summer and we already encourage people from a public health perspective to come up and drink water when they come up to high elevation. Then we're like, no, people get any water.
Yeah.
But also there's not super convenient places to buy water. Fill up water.
It's also probably like, I don't think we'd be able to enforce that. And we rely on 1,000 people visit every day.
Yeah.
We can't tell the restaurants that they can't use water. That's crazy.
Yeah, enforceability.
How did that go in 2018?
Well, I was gonna say, in 2018, I was running the restaurant and the hotel. And we only offered water when requested. That was a nice way of.
That's the way they do it in Arizona. Only water will bring it to you, otherwise you're not gonna get it.
And that gives you an opportunity to
As
upsell.
long as we don't have tourists, it has to count from altitude.
Send to the clinic. It's.
Yeah. Not necessarily.
Get the turnover, yeah.
Yeah, and as I been learning a little bit about how things happened in 2018, I'm not sure if it was a joint effort with town and county, but providing little, tent pamphlets for restaurants to put on the tables, just explaining the why.
Ask for water.
Yeah. So
It helps people know too, fire danger, it's dry, you don't have water.
Yeah.
Other things the board would like to see or change.
Don't worry about our swimming pools,
I mean, hot tubs. People are.
We do have hot tubs. I wish.
A little contentious that there are businesses, depending on hot tubs. I think it makes sense that.
Yeah.
Residents could, not refill their hot tub, but a business that, I don't know how much we have right now, but you know, if your whole business was, for example, the soaking pools or, you know, I don't know. How would we, you know, be able to consider that?
Good point, yeah, probably have two businesses
The soaking pools and Altus Lodge has a.
and,
And the
the villa.
And the villa.
So it sounds like there'd like to be a conversation around exempting
There,
businesses.
and that's what Telluride had a process for exempting.
Yeah.
Stop making fun of it. We just did it. That's why I'm bringing it up. I read the article.
Liz did her homework, Jen.
My dog ate mine.
They just had a process for exemption for some things like that, and then it was like new construction, for like new landscaping. So,
Like if you put in new sod or something.
yeah, or like a new tree or whatever.
We know what the largest utilization of water actually is, like the top 5 sources.
Oh man, John, the Public Utilities Committee, so we have a new member on our.
Yeah, it's reasonable. It's a reasonable question.
It's irrigation.
Irrigation.
Yep.
But like 40%, 80%.
Oh, I'd have to look at it again. I think it kind of changes. My old employer, irrigation was the top user.
When you say irrigation up here though, compared to like.
Yeah, up here, it wouldn't be irrigation. Up here would be probably restaurants and residents.
Okay.
But I also know last year, I visibly seen this, some residents, well, we're on an EQR, so I'm just gonna turn on the hose and I'm gonna let it run.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a big part of education. And people are like, oh my God, my lawn's gonna die. Your grass will go dormant. It'll come back next year. It's education on multitude of things. So, you know.
Yeah, I think if there's a safety issue, whether it's food in a restaurant or business hot tubs and so forth, we have to have some leniency. But yeah, if it's someone's lawn, it's like, it is what it's all over the country, you know, you can't do this.
Yeah.
So it's nothing special that would be forcing.
And there's still provision for some time to water your lawn in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
It's like more than I've ever watered my lawn.
Yeah.
There's not that many.
we can look at that and see if that's justifiable, depending on the condition and what our water is doing.
Are there any,
Maybe instead of 3 days a week on even numbers and 3 days a week on odd numbers, it might be 2. It just,
Yeah.
it just depends.
is there any information on like toilets running 24 hours a day? You know, well, there's the property we're, you know, trying to buy up top. There's a couple of 1-inch pipes up there that as of last year, were just running water for, I don't know how many years across the property. And so all the wasted water that is actually, do we have this identified and possible leaks out of the system?
Well, I know where we're gonna start.
Written down.
I'm happy to turn a wetland on top of the hill into a dry land.
I did read an article though, up in Denver.
Already doing it.
They're doing the water restrictions. They've implemented these. But what they are doing is they're encouraging residents to look at their landscaping and take a different approach with turf, with rock, with other things that don't use as much water.
Yeah, we did that in Oregon. It was just all, it was gorgeous, but we had virtually turned off all the sprinklers about our first year after being there. It cost a fortune.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, all that to say, it sounds like you should be on the utilities committee. We got meters we can't talk about. We have a leak detection system we working on, so yeah. Okay, so it sounds like the board would like a draft of a water restriction resolution. That's what I'm getting a sense of,
Some revisions to the 2018.
right? And again, not to shut down any conversation, is there anything else that you want to direct staff to make sure to include on this that we didn't hit on? Structure it just like Telluride is what I should do.
It's, I mean, it's funny because theirs was actually more lenient than ours.
That's what you said, right?
Yeah, yep. Oh, Jim.
All right, any other staff direction? Okay, moving on. To agenda item 8 B, generator purchase. This is also John. I'll pass.
Also, maybe I'm all kinds of,
Sounds like you're preparing. That's what.
I am preparing, yes.
Good.
One of the things, I mean, me and Elizabeth met with Jim Donovan here a while back, the emergency preparedness and everything. And it kind of got the wheels turning. And after last year, when we had to rent the generator for the Skidroring project, it kept those wheels turning and I'm going, well, drought, water, because we've got a lot of rights that are in animus. So this would be an emergency. Well, it's an emergency piece of equipment. Excuse me. It's something that, you know, if you get the right generator, you can drop a pump in the river. You can fill a fire truck. You can fill a water truck, both county, both town. And I'd rather be on the prepared side than all of a sudden we get into a situation and say, oh, go try and rent one. And then I know from, I've looked into that. It's expensive to rent one. It's 10,000 a month. So, and that money you never get back. It's gone. So I've been pricing them, I'm in the wrong business. One generator, 82,000 or 135,000, depending on what name is on the side of it. And so I did strike up a conversation with the county and went and talked to them, the commissioners, last Wednesday. And they are in favor of going in with the town halves. Because it's something that if something happens in the county, it's on a trailer, you can hook to it and go. They would commit to half of whatever, and I'm still working and I'm still looking at different vendors to find the best deal. I found one as an example, great price, 31,000. It's like, cool. But it had 7,600 hours on it. And it's like, it's on its last leg. So the one that keyed me it was actually Caterpillar. It was for the 82, but it only had 942 hours on it. We may not have to use it that much, which that's what I would cross my fingers and say, hey, it's there for an emergency. We have it. But I think it's proactive to look at this. On the budgetary stuff, the county committed that if it's $82,000, they would pay, they'd hand us a check for 41. I would give that to whichever vendor, and then we would finance the other half of that. And I could probably do that through Public Works, so it didn't hit any other budgets. Doing it that way, it's gonna cut my lease in half. It's gonna cut my interest rate in half. And we still get the generator at the end of the day for whatever. It's, you know, I'm up for discussion because I'm just trying to be, I'm a little uneasy with snowpack, with all these things that, how are we gonna do this if it hits?
Either like emergency, now that there's electric over at the Miners Hospital, is it gonna be sized that it could potentially heat that?
So the one I'm proposing is a 100 kW generator, which you could plug it into the miners union and it'll power it all day long. You could power it into the courthouse. You could power it into here. Any of those will run it.
That includes a heater component of it.
Yep, the heater that the county has,
Okay.
it'll more than run that piece of equipment. I know last year Bevan tried to run it off of, we have a welder. It kind of done the job, but was not as this generator would be. I wouldn't go any lower than 100 kW just because the higher you go, the more uses you have for it. And that's something, you know, in the middle of the winter, if we have something that we need to get power to, it might be the wastewater treatment plant. It has a small generator, but it's just being prepared, in my opinion, so.
We talked to like SMPA about any sort of like grant opportunity there, like, a lot of times like, power goes out. They do have like some preparedness grants there.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on that because this strikes me as something that you're checking. You've mentioned a lot of really interesting things, John. One is firefighting, wildland firefighters, like wildfires in town, et cetera. Water security, and resiliency in terms of winter business and snowpack, and like electricity and resiliency. And so I'm wondering, I think this is a great redundancy, and before we committed to a lease purchase, is there an option where we could look a little bit at, maybe there's additional grant funding? I know we're managing a lot of grants right now, so it may not be the right fit, but it also is kind of a one-time purchase type of grant.
Yeah. Well, something like SMPA, like we know them really well. Maybe they'd have something that could be small enough to cover this.
Or contribute.
Yeah, or contribute in some way. So especially like, or even like tri-state, because if we have fires out here, they're gonna shut down that line, So.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to reach out to them. I know that with talking with Jim, he was looking for grants and was not finding much out there,
Checking with Region 9 just to see if they have any thoughts on grant sources for this.
Because Tiffany, I mean, this is super specific. It's like, we want to buy this thing. Is there a grant that will buy this thing?
Yeah.
Or half of the thing?
I'd be interested in like the operational costs too. So I'm assuming if it's the county's using it, they're putting the fuel in it, vice versa. But also like the depreciation of that asset and those hours. I didn't know if it made sense to like think of it as like a partnership and a bigger asset where you're paying not only your fuel, but your operational costs too. If there's a way to set the financing up that way, it sounds great that the county could, drop a check for half of it, but I was just brainstorming, like, is there a way to set it up to where it's like you pay as you play, and that way when this machine has 7,600 hours on it, like who used a lot of it and who got a lot of the value out of that? It might be too convoluted, but just an idea.
So to answer part of your question, last fall, I took on the project and we now have a 4,000 gallon fuel tank at the town shop. That is in conjunction with the county. I have a log out sheet there. So when they pull in a dozer and fuel it, they log that. And then every so often, every about a month and a half, I pull all that, separate everything out. Here's your part county, because they have 3 different employees. And then we take ours and pay that off. And it was also more of an emergency type of deal, because to go down and sit for 45 minutes to fuel up a loader was not the best situation if we had a lot of snow. So that part of it's kind of worked out, and I'd probably talk with Clayton and the county attorney and probably do a mutual aid agreement for that piece of equipment. The county was more, well, we'll just give you half of it. You put it in your name. So, I mean, there's some of those logistic things that we'll have to work out as far as, we can easily track hours and fuel for what is needed. So.
You guys didn't see this in budget committee, right?
This is coming to the board, yeah. Yeah, this wasn't talked about in the budget. And so it is a little bit tricky to me when we haven't situated this. I've said for 4 years, whenever we have things come before us, they're always good things, and it means that potentially we don't do something else.
Yeah.
So how do you situate something like this within all the other budget priorities, that we have?
How urgent do you think this is?
It's high.
Well,
I would.
Is it like next year?
We move on this pretty fast.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a lot of communities that are looking at the same thing to being prepared.
Yeah.
Question, does it make any sense to buy, a couple of smaller ones. So you actually had some versatility if everything goes out and we need power there and power there. Or you have a larger one which can tie into the power station and, feed through that somehow, just sort of not isolated to one location.
We do have some smaller ones throughout town.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at a 50 kW, two of them, and see what that prices out, or a 75 kW. Anything smaller than 50, then you start running in, okay, is that gonna be too much of a load if we were to hook into town hall? So I'm not the best electrical engineer, but I'll figure that one out. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions. It's like, I just think we need to seriously have these conversations about this, because I think it's, I just hope for rain, but I can't.
Yeah. Would it make sense? Oh, go ahead, Jim.
No, I was gonna say, watching what generator did over there, along with the two pumps that were coming out of the river. It is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And if we can finance this over X amount of years, it's a low impact to the budget overall. To me, that's a win. My opinion.
Do you know if the county was doing it from their road and bridge budget or from the emergency services?
Emergency services.
So my one question, I think the offer to split it is incredibly generous and they have the freedom to just write a check from that account. And maybe they would be open to like a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split. I mean, again, because they are the ones that collect the revenue source for that type of funding. We don't have a revenue collection mechanism in the same way. So, yeah. But I do think it's great to have that partnership because it wouldn't make sense for just the town or the county to bear that whole cost.
I think that fund is in pretty good health too. Did they say anything about that on the Wednesday meeting? Cost management, okay. I think it's,
Tyler could tell us, probably the last balance was around $3 million.
yeah, just like, I think the purpose of that is to save it for a disaster, which so good,
Right. But if there's a lot of money in that funding and a disaster hits, then the feds will make us spend that balance down
Totally.
before they come in.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we can have further conversations with the county to see if.
Yeah, or if they'd be willing to bear a little bit more of the cost and we pay less back over time or something, yeah.
Store it. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah. And I would just do a little searching in terms of water security, resiliency, and I think Lindsay's question on the tri-state and SMPA, we could at least, worst they can say is no. Even if they had $5,000 or, any of that. Other questions, Rod?
No, I say let's go ahead and pursue looking into getting additional generators and additional funding and then get back together.
Great, sound like good direction? Great, staff, you've been directed.
Okay.
Thanks, John. Thanks for thinking about that. Yeah. All right. And just for our new trustees again, so we are at the head of the animus, but that does not mean we have senior water rights. So that makes it a little bit tricky. And you'll get more of this from John. He'll give you the grand tour, but a lot of our water comes from Boulder and Bear creeks. And we do have some water rights in the animus, but
Mineral now, right?
South Mineral, and not to let the cat out of the bag, but I'm working on one more.
John's been working on water security. We've tried to drill wells for around here before. That has never really panned out, so. All right. What? Yeah. I was still looking for that hot aquifer where we could find that hot spring. Not. I had a friend who was a geologist and he came out and he's like, I got all the maps of all the geothermal stuff. And I'm like, I don't think it's here.
They're not. The volcano exploded and shot them all
Elsewhere.
That's why we.
Yeah. All right, we don't have any committee reports, so we'll move on to agenda, right? No committees met?
No.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item 10, open discussion and future agenda items. Ron often has a list for us. No list today.
Overtime already.
All right, for the good of the order. Well, before we move on to public comment, I wanted to say to anybody listening who listens before, this is my last meeting as mayor. I read my letter. I was that's all I wanted to say, but I just really wanted to thank the outgoing board members who already left, the current board, the board that I previously served on with previous members. It's been a real honor and privilege. I would say serving in this role and on this board and with you all and the town staff has been one of the most meaningful experiences I've had. It probably will continue to be that. This town is incredibly special. It will always hold a special place in my heart. And we're not too far down there. So come visit and we will be back visiting as well. And I know that this group and this community will continue to steward the special place that this is and keep the soul of Silverton. So I have full confidence in the staff and the board leadership to carry forward. And your next meeting will be chaired by our Mayor Pro Tem Harper as chair, and Clayton will be guiding the board on kind of next steps for how that transition could happen and what the options are for the board. So just want to extend a lot of thanks and gratitude to the community for trusting me in this role, and to the board for the dedication and to the staff for the perseverance and steadfastness. So it's been a privilege.
We have a little something for you as well, Dana.
Not just. Is it really? Speaking of water. Oh.
No, it's for everybody.
Such a good photo. So we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Thank you. Well, I have actual watercolor of the town hall in my. Oh,
That's awesome.
so you guys want to see? Oh, thank you. Oh. When there was snow. Oh, well, thank you all. And you guys are in for a fun ride. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you for leading us, this board, facilitating several meetings, getting us through some challenging conversations.
It's been a good.
Incredible.
We haven't had too many angry crowds. No.
Pretty haven't had many crowds.
In your time, you've done a lot. You've made a lot of things, move through this board in an efficient and productive way.
Thanks, Lindsay. It's been, again, a very functional team to work with, so appreciate it. All right, any other discussion? Things you want to put on the agenda for next time? April 23rd. All right, we will now move on to public comment. We have nobody in person for public comment, but if you are on Zoom and you'd like to make a public comment, please click the raise hand button and we'll promote you to panelists.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. First, my name's Rolf Hanning. I work for Silverton Mountain here. I want to congratulate our new board members and thank retiring board members. I'd also like to thank John Zarkis for the snow this spring. It was tremendously helpful for keeping the ski area open. I just wanted to throw my name in the hat if you folks need any assistance. Looking into generators, we used 100 kilowatt, 300 some odd kilowatt generators in Telluride, making snow for years and years in the dead of winter. And I know everything about them from fuel, maintenance, what you need to keep them running in the dead of winter, and what is a good deal and isn't a good deal. So if at any point in time the appropriate people would like to sidebar, I'd love to offer my services. And yeah, just try and help the town move in the best direction, doing the most we can with the little that we have up here in Silverton. So thank you, folks.
Thanks, Rolf. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You got that, John? Yes.
I wrote it down.
Great. Do we have any other public comment on Zoom? All right, great. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and the time is 6:50 and I'll adjourn this meeting.
Steve, bye, Clayton.